First, the hidden trap that blocks your brain gains. The trap: fighting smoke, ignoring the fire. Most people treat brain fog like a smoke problem. They spray fish oil on it and hope the haze clears. But the fire is still burning in the gut. It's like spraying air freshener on a trash can. You get a nicer smell, but the mess keeps rotting underneath. If your gut lining is irritated and leaky, your immune system stays on high alert. That low-grade inflammation travels, and your brain pays with slower recall, poor focus, and a mood that turns on a dime. Now, fish oil isn't useless. It's anti-inflammatory and it can help calm the smoke. The problem is it doesn't feed the system that prevents the fire in the first place: your gut microbes and the barrier they maintain. When that barrier is tight, fewer inflammatory signals reach your brain. When it's compromised, even healthy brains feel noisy. Before this clicked for me, I tried to fix fog with single supplements and willpower. Coffee, omega-3s, brain games, some relief, but nothing steady. Then I learned the thing most people miss. Your microbes run on specific fuel, and they decide how much inflammation gets turned up or down. If you starve them of the right fiber, they can't produce the short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, that keep your gut lining calm and sealed. No sealed lining, no calm brain. Here's why that matters. The gut-brain axis is a two-way highway. Your brain talks to your gut, and your gut talks back using immune messengers and microbial metabolites. When your microbes ferment the right kinds of starch, they make short-chain fatty acids that support gut cells, reduce inflammatory chatter, and help stabilize the system that influences mood and cognition. If that fermentation doesn't happen, you're left treating symptoms at the brain level while the gut continues to send SOS signals. What does that look like day to day? You forget a word mid-sentence. You lose steam after lunch. You snap at small things, then wonder why. Balance feels off on stairs. Sleep is lighter and less refreshing. None of these mean you're failing. They often mean the gut needs better fuel, not more pills. The stakes are real. Memory, balance, and mood are quality of life pillars. Getting this wrong chips away at independence. Getting it right gives you steadier energy, quieter thoughts, and more reliable recall. The quick win is simple. Feed your gut so your brain calms down. Food first beats most capsules here because real foods deliver the fermentable starches your microbes actually use. Specifically, resistant starch, the starch that resists digestion in your small intestine and makes it to your microbes intact. Legumes are the budget-friendly goldmine. When you prepare them the right way, your microbes get a steady supply of fermentable fuel, and your gut starts sending all-clear signals instead of alarms. Let me show you the pattern I see over and over. Someone adds fish oil and says, "I think I feel a bit better." Then they start feeding resistant starch consistently, and within a week or two they report fewer afternoon crashes, less bloating, steadier mood, and a calmer baseline. The difference isn't magic, it's mechanics. You're not just damping flames, you're removing kindling. Now here's where most people mess up. They assume fiber is fiber. They eat a big raw salad and wonder why their stomach protests. Not all fibers behave the same. Resistant starch is uniquely good at producing butyrate, the gut's preferred fuel for keeping the lining strong. And you don't need a mountain of it. You need a small daily dose that your microbes can count on. Another miss: ignoring the way you prepare foods. Cooking and cooling certain starches increases their resistant starch content through retrogradation. Beans, lentils, potatoes, rice, when you chill them after cooking, more of the starch becomes resistant. That means more fuel reaches your microbes and more butyrate is made. Gentle reheating keeps most of that benefit. We'll get to the exact method, but know this: the fridge is your ally. Before the fix, you should be able to spot the signs your gut is asking for help. Bloating or gas after certain foods, an energy dip 30 to 90 minutes after eating, sleep that's choppy, and a shorter fuse than usual. These patterns scream poor microbial fuel and irritated gut lining. Age alone isn't the culprit, the wrong inputs are. Here's a quick checkpoint you can use starting today. For 3 days, jot down what you eat when your energy dips and any gut symptoms. Don't change anything, just watch the pattern. If lunch with refined carbs leads to a foggy 2 p.m., that's a clue. If a small serving of cooled beans gives you a smoother afternoon, that's a bigger clue. We'll turn those clues into a plan. Once you nail this mindset, root cause over quick relief, everything else clicks. Fish oil can still be in the mix if your clinician recommends it, but think of it as the co-pilot. The pilot is your daily resistant starch, quietly rebuilding the runway your brain needs for smooth landings. In a moment, I'll give you 3 clear signs your gut is driving your brain fog so you can confirm this for yourself. Then we'll walk straight into the $1 bean method that beats 99% of supplements for calming the brain. Check yourself, signs your gut is driving brain fog. Let's make this practical. If your gut is fueling the fog, it usually shows up in 3 everyday ways. Think of these as dashboard lights. You don't need fancy tests, just honest observation for 3 days. Sign 1, bloating or gas after certain foods. I'm not talking about a gentle fullness after a meal. I mean your waistband feels tighter, you're burping more, or there's a windy orchestra an hour later. The thing most people miss is that this isn't just age. It's often a mismatch between the fibers you're eating and what your microbes can handle right now. If you go from low fiber to a giant raw salad or a big bowl of whole grains overnight, your gut bacteria get overwhelmed and throw a protest party. On the flip side, a small serving of cooled beans or lentils can feel surprisingly calm because resistant starch ferments more steadily and often produces less chaos than certain fermentable carbs in raw veggies. Why this matters for your brain: the more your gut throws off gas and irritation, the more immune signals it sends. That background noise translates upstream as fog, irritability, and fatigue. Sign 2, an energy crash 30 to 90 minutes after meals. You eat, you feel okay, then the floor drops out. Most people blame willpower or the afternoon slump. The real story is that your blood sugar and insulin are playing ping pong. When meals are low in fiber or heavy on quick starches, your glucose rises fast and falls fast. Your brain hates that roller coaster. Resistant starch helps by slowing the meal's glucose impact and by feeding microbes that produce short-chain fatty acids which support metabolic steadiness. The quick home test: track your meals for 3 days. If refined carbs or hot, fresh starches give you a crash, but a meal that includes a small portion of cooled beans leaves you steady, you've found a lever. Sign 3, sleep and mood swings, the short fuse pattern. You're fine in the morning, then small hassles feel bigger by afternoon. Or you fall asleep easily but wake at 2 or 3 a.m. with a busy brain. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. A cranky gut often drives a cranky nervous system. When the gut lining is irritated, inflammatory signaling goes up and neurotransmitter balance feels off. Feed the microbes the right fuel and those signals quiet down. Many people notice gentler evenings and fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups within 7 to 14 days of a small daily resistant starch habit. It's not a sedative, it's stability. Now, before you decide, yep, that's me, let's do a simple at-home check that gives you clear data fast. For 3 days, keep a fiber tolerance journal. It's basic. Write down what you ate, the time, how you felt 30, 60, and 120 minutes later, plus any gut notes, bloat, gas, pressure, or none. Add a quick sleep and mood rating at the end of the day. You're looking for patterns, not perfection. Common pattern: hot starch-heavy lunches lead to 2 p.m. crash and brain fog. Another pattern: big raw salads cause upper bloat and a short fuse by late afternoon. What you want to see: a small portion of cooled beans or lentils with lunch or early dinner gives steadier energy and fewer gut complaints. Why these signs point to poor gut fuel instead of just getting older comes down to inputs. Your microbes change based on what you feed them. Starve the butyrate producers and your gut lining gets cranky. Feed them consistent resistant starch and the lining gets supported, signaling calms, and your brain feels the difference. If you remember nothing else, remember this: calm gut, calm brain. A quick win you can try today: at your next meal, add 2 tablespoons of cooled white beans or lentils. That's it. Don't change anything else. Notice your afternoon energy and your mood at dinner. If your belly talks more than your grandkids after raw veggies, swap the raw mountain for a small, cooled bean portion and watch what happens. We want brain power, not trumpet hour. Common mistakes to avoid while you're checking: changing 5 things at once, going from 0 fiber to a giant serving on day 1, or reheating your beans until they're steaming hot. Keep it simple. 1 change, small dose, gentle heat. And drink a small glass of water with a pinch of salt if you tend to be low on fluids. Fiber works better when you're not dried out. Here's a quick checklist to confirm the gut fog link. Bloat or gas within 1 to 3 hours after meals happens more than 3 times a week. A predictable energy slump hits 30 to 90 minutes post-meal. Sleep is choppy or your fuse is short by late afternoon. A small portion of cooled beans leaves you steadier than the same amount of hot starch. If 2 or more fit, your gut is likely driving the fog. Good news, this is fixable. Next, I'll show you why resistant starch beats fish oil for root repair and how to start without the bloat. Why this beats fish oil: root versus relief. Let's draw a clean line between relief and repair. Fish oil is relief. It helps cool inflammatory smoke for some people, and if your clinician put you on it, keep it. but it doesn't rebuild the system that keeps the smoke from starting. Resistant starch is repair. It feeds your gut microbes so they produce the short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, that strengthen your gut lining and quiet the signals that rattle your brain. The thing most people miss is that your microbes aren't powered by willpower or wishful thinking. They need fuel they recognize. Regular fiber is useful, but different fibers behave differently. Resistant starch makes it to your colon intact, where microbes ferment it steadily. That steady fermentation is what creates butyrate, the preferred fuel of your gut lining cells. When those cells are well fed, the barrier tightens, inflammatory chatter drops, and your brain gets fewer all hands on deck alerts. Now here's where it clicked for me. I used to think omega-3s and a cleaner diet were enough, but my sleep stayed choppy and my afternoons were hit or miss. When I added a small daily serving of cooled beans, two things shifted within 2 weeks: less gas than with big raw salads and a smoother mood curve from lunch to bedtime. The reason this works is simple mechanics. You're not just dampening inflammation from the top, you're changing what causes it at the bottom. Let me show you exactly how these jobs differ. Omegas are like specialized firefighters. They show up when there's heat and help tamp it down. Useful, but they don't rebuild the fireproof walls. Short-chain fatty acids made from resistant starch are the construction crew. Butyrate strengthens tight junctions in the gut lining, supports the cells that maintain that barrier, and helps regulate immune tone. When the wall is sturdy, fewer sparks get through to your brain in the first place. Another big difference: timing and stability. Fish oil's benefits can feel subtle or inconsistent, especially if your meals still spike and crash your system. Resistant starch changes the baseline. By slowing the digestion of the meal and feeding the microbiome, you reduce glucose swings and create a calmer internal climate. That's why people often report steadier energy, fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups, and a more even mood after a week or two of a small daily dose. Best practice here is food first, supplements as backup. Real foods like beans and lentils deliver resistant starch along with minerals, protein, and other fibers that your microbes love. You also control preparation, which changes the effect. Cook cool 12-24 hours, then eat cold or gently warm. That cooling step increases resistant starch so more fuel reaches your microbes. Gentle heat keeps the benefit. It's a simple habit with compound interest. Now you might be thinking, can I just buy a fiber pill? You can, but you'll miss the synergy of whole foods. Many powders don't produce as much butyrate as legumes do, and some can be harsh if you add them too fast. With beans, you can dose precisely. Start with 2 tablespoons and build. You'll know you're at the right dose when meals feel quieter and your fuse feels longer. The reason this food-first approach beats a fish oil-only plan is that it shifts control back to you. You can't supplement your way out of a starved microbiome, but you can feed it daily, even on a tight budget, and you don't need large amounts. Small, consistent servings work far better than heroic bowls once a week. Think routine, not rescue. If you remember nothing else, remember this: fish oil cools, resistant starch repairs. One calms the flames, the other removes the kindling and rebuilds the wall. When you combine them smartly, food first plus any clinician-recommended omega-3, you get both short-term ease and long-term stability. Before we continue, you need to understand one more piece that makes the whole plan effortless: what resistant starch actually is and how to unlock more of it with a fridge, not a pharmacy. This is the shortcut nobody teaches, and it's where your $1 beans start doing the work that capsules can't. Next up, resistant starch 101, the brain's quiet bodyguard. Resistant starch 101, the brain's quiet bodyguard. Let's make this simple. Resistant starch is starch that resists digestion in your small intestine. Instead of turning into blood sugar right away, it travels down to your colon intact. That's where your gut microbes go to work, fermenting it into short-chain fatty acids, especially butyrate, the stuff your gut lining loves. When your lining is well fed, it stays tight and calm, and your brain hears fewer danger signals. That's the quiet bodyguard effect: steady gut, quieter brain. Why does this beat loading up on random fiber? Because fibers act differently. Some ferment fast and cause drama, some barely ferment at all. Resistant starch ferments in a slower, more stable way, often with fewer fireworks than certain raw veggie fibers. The reason this works is mechanical. Butyrate fuels the cells that maintain your gut barrier, supports tight junctions, and helps set a balanced immune tone. Less leak, less inflammatory chatter, fewer upstream brain ripples. Now here's the part everyone skips. You can increase resistant starch in everyday foods by how you prepare them. The game changer nobody talks about is cooling. When you cook starches and then chill them, beans, lentils, potatoes, rice, some of the digestible starch recrystallizes into a form your small intestine can't break down easily. More of that starch makes it to your microbes. Cooling for 12 to 24 hours is the sweet spot. And yes, you can eat them cold or gently warm. Warm hug, not sauna. Another thing most people miss: not all fiber is the same and not all starch is the same. Resistant starch is different from insoluble fiber, the roughage that adds bulk, and different from soluble fiber that can spike fermentation fast. Think of resistant starch as slow-release fuel for butyrate production. It's why a small serving of cooled beans can feel smoother than a mountain of raw greens. Safety note: so you stay comfortable, start low and go slow. If you're new to fibers, jumping to a cup of beans is how you audition for a tuba solo. We want brain power, not trumpet hour. Begin with 2 tablespoons of cooled beans once a day. If that sits well for 3 days, bump to a quarter cup. Sip a small glass of water with a pinch of salt if you tend to be low on fluids. Fiber does its best work when you're not dried out. Common mistake number 1: thinking hot and fresh is always best. With resistant starch, a fridge is your friend. Cook cool, then eat cold or gently warmed. Boiling hot soups can reduce the benefit you just created. You don't need to obsess, just avoid steaming hot reheats. Mistake number 2: assuming canned beans can't work. They can. Rinse them well, then chill them for 12 to 24 hours. The cooling still matters. Let me show you exactly how to unlock more butyrate with almost no effort. Step 1: cook your beans until tender, or start with canned and rinse them well. Step 2: portion them into small containers and refrigerate for at least 12 hours. Overnight is perfect. Step 3: eat them cold in salads or mash into spreads, or gently warm them until they're warm to the touch, not piping hot. That's it. 3 steps, steady fuel. You might be thinking, why not just take a butyrate pill? 2 reasons. First, your microbes do more than make butyrate, they build a whole ecosystem. Feeding them with resistant starch supports the community, not just one molecule. Second, the synergy of whole legumes, minerals, protein, other fibers often feels better and is far cheaper than capsules. Food first gives you control over dose and timing, and it's sustainable. Here's a quick mental model to remember it. CCC: cook, cool, calm. Cook the beans, cool them 12 to 24 hours. Calm the gut so the brain follows. If you remember nothing else, remember CCC. It turns a $1 ingredient into a daily gut-brain tool. What results should you look for? Within 7 to 14 days, many people notice steadier afternoons, less post-meal bloat, and fewer 3 a.m. wake-ups. Not perfection, just a calmer baseline. If you feel gassy, you either increased too fast or paired your beans with a big raw salad and created too much fermentation at once. Roll back to the prior dose, keep the cooling step, and add herbs like ginger, parsley, or cumin to help comfort. Before we move on, one more clarity point. Resistant starch isn't about eating huge servings, it's about consistency. A small daily portion beats a big weekly bowl every time. Your microbes like routine. Give them a reliable fuel signal and they'll return the favor with a quieter gut and a more even mood. So now you know the what, why, and how. Resistant starch is starch that escapes early digestion, reaches your microbes, and turns into butyrate, the gut's preferred fuel. Cooking and cooling boosts it. Gentle heat keeps it. Start low, go slow, and let the CCC rule guide you. In the next section, I'll show you the $1 All-Stars, the 3 best brain beans, so you can pick a favorite and get results without overthinking it.